Good morning, students. This is Harshali teacher, and today we are going to learn the new poem, The Wet, and it is written by Guy Bose. Okay, so what is in this poem? The wait. What is wait? The wait means veterinary doctors or doctors of animals. And this is a witty and humorous poem. The poet at the end gives some light-hearted advice to the readers. So this is what about the poem. Now we will going to learn from the warming up first. So, first question from warming up is, where do we find all types of wild animal in urban areas? So basically the answer, it is in the zoo. We can find all types of wild animals in the zoo. The next question is, do you have a pet? If you have, you can say yes I have, and if you don't have, so no I don't have a pet. How do we help animals and birds? See, like we are human beings and we have hands for thinking, we have minds, brain. So we have to help these kinds of animals. We help animals and birds by providing them with food, water, and shelter. We also help them by taking them to vets when they are ill. Vet means veterinary doctor, the doctors for animals. How do we realize that animals are not feeling well? When animals are not well, they become quiet and inactive. Some may even groan. Groan means making sound of something happened to them, penning sound like that. They also stop eating food because they are not feeling well. Who gives medicines or treatment to sick animals and birds? The veterinarian. Veterinarian means animals for doctors for animals and birds. Okay, now the next question from the warming up, that is, doctors who do special advanced study of specific parts of body have special terms. So here they have given some specialist and who what they treat. Suppose dentist. Everybody know what dentists do? Dentists treat for the teeth. Then cardiologist. Cardiologist treat for our hearts. Then ophthalmologist treat for our eyes. Orthopedics are bones. Pediatrician for small kids. Then neurologist brain and spinal cord. Veterinarian animals and bird. Now here the second question, that is, discuss in your class and write down the most important reason why pediatrician and veterinarian have a tougher job to diagnose their patient's illness. See, like we are human beings, we can say where it is paining and what should we do. Then pediatrician and veterinarian have a tougher job to diagnose their patient's illness, as their patients cannot communicate their problems clearly. They cannot say their problems clearly, so their jobs are little bit tough. Now we will go for the poem, actual poem. To be a successful and competent vet needs knowledge and exceedingly wide. For each of the patients he is likely to get possesses a different insight. Vet, short form of a veterinarian, a doctors for animals and pet, and competent, having very good knowledge and ability. Then here in the first stanza we can see this is a witty and light-hearted poem. Okay, so the poet begins by saying that if one wants to be a successful and capable veterinarian, one need to have extremely wide knowledge for each patient, that the vet get has different types and size of organs in his body. Further, in the second stanza, he said that he must know Why the cat is refusing her milk? Why the dog is not eating his bone? Why the coat of the horse is not shining like silk? Why the parrot does nothing but groan? Then, in the second stanza, he said that the wait has to know why the cat refused to drink milk or the dog refused to eat his bone. He must know why the coat of the horse is not shining like a silk, or why the parrot does nothing else but groan. Groan means making a sound of pain, and a different inside means different types of size of organ inside the body. Exceedingly means very much. See, different inside means, you know what, the bird's body parts are different from the dog and cat, but the human beings having the same body parts, but the animals are having various body parts, so that it said that different inside. Then the third stanza, why the duck and the chickens are falling to lay, why so fain the corny bird sings, and if he is called to the zoo, he must say an incredible number of things. Incredible means unbelievable. Okay, so he must know why the ducks and the hens are not laying eggs and why the canary sings so softly. If he is called to the zoo, he has a lot of patience and unbelievable numbers of things to be said. Then the next stanza. If the lion caught a cold, if the zebra's getting old, if the centipede has a trouble with his feet, and if the hippo's feeling ill, if the bison's got a chill, and if the Arctic fox is suffering from heat. So in this stanza, what you want to say that if the lion caught a cold or zebra has old age problem, if the centipede has trouble with his feet or hippopotamus is feeling ill, if the bison is feeling chilled means cold and the Arctic fox is suffering from the heat, the weight we should called. Okay, so centipede means what? A small, long, thin creature with many legs. So if he has trouble with his feet, then what will happen? Just think upon it. And lion's got a cold, then what will happen? He, instead of roaring, given us a chits. Okay, and a zebra is getting old age problem. Then what will happen? Correct? And centipede has so many legs, and if he is having trouble to his feet, then what will happen? Okay, and bisons, those are already getting chill. Chill means cold. And Arctic fox is suffering from heat. Then what? We should call a veterinary doctor. And bisons are American buffaloes. Okay, so that you have to know. Then the second stanza, if some virulent disease has attacked the chimpanzees, and if the tortoise hasn't steered for several years, if the bear's too full of buns, and if the cobra eats her sons, if the panther has a wife who chews his ears, okay, means if deadly diseases has spread among the chimpanzees, or the tortoise hasn't moved for several years, and if the bears has eaten too many buns, or the cobras has eaten her babies, or the female panther chews the ears of mate, the vet should be called. Okay, chews means not only chewing but saying something bad to his. Then virulent means caused by the viruses. Some virus is spread over there. Then what will happen? Then steer means move. Tortoise cannot be moved from one place to another. Then we should call veterinary doctor. Then the next stanza, if giraffes have had a tiff and their necks are feeling stiffs. Okay, stiff means coral and their necks is having stiff. Then if the hyenas will not laugh to keepers joke. Keepers means zookeeper. Okay, those who are keeping. Then if the monkey's pinched his tail and if the rhino's looking pale. Okay, if the giraffe have had a quarrel and now have stiff his neck, and if the hyenas will not laugh when the zookeeper cracks the jokes. If the monkey has pinched his tail or the rhinoceros is looking very pale, pale means dull, or the elephant has eaten paperbacks and chokes. Chokes means his throat is chokes. Now he cannot eat. So we should call veterinarian. Why he could chokes the bags? Because we are human beings, but we know it is not good to throw paper bags anywhere. But then also we are throwing paper bags, or we are throwing food with the paper bags, and because of that the elephants are sometimes eating the paper bags also. So that then next, if the camel has hurt, uh, then what happened then? If the elephant eats a paperback and chokes, and if the camel hurts his hump, if the kangaroos won't jump, and if the crocodile turns a cannibal and bits. Cannibal means one who cats human flesh, one who eats human flesh. Cannibal, and then run away and get the omniscient, the wet omniscient one who knows all everything and accept him to put everything to right. Means if the camel has hurt his humps and the kangaroos won't jump, and if the crocodile turns into a man eater like a bites the people at the zoo run off and get the vet who expected to know everything and who expect to cure all these problems. Profoundly, I pity the vet who must learn such a very great deal for his fee. My son, I advise you most strongly to earn you living an easier way. Don't attempt to attend the geological work crowd. A far more advisable plan is to call yourself doctor and so be allowed to treat the illness of man. Means profoundly means what? Greatly, deeply. Okay. So the poet greatly pities the vet who has to learn such a great deal of for the pay he gets. And the poet strongly advises the reader to earn his living in an easier way. His advice not to attempt to attain to animals. A far better plan, says he, would be to call oneself a doctor and attain the illness of human beings. I hope you understand the poem. Now we will see the central idea and the summary of the poem. What is the central idea of the poem? That is, the poem Wet has been penned by Guy Bose, a poet and a humorist from London. He is known for his wit and sense of humor. Here he is trying to make a light-hearted humor about the complex text on a veterinary surgeon. Of course, he makes a serious topic very interesting and amusing, especially for children of all age. Animals and birds are not able to talk or express their pain of suffering like human beings. A veterinarian is supposed to diagnose and treat for a large number of ailments seen or occurring in animals and birds. He needs to be very compassionate and dedicated to find out what the disease is and start treatment. The way the complex problem of animals and birds are described is very amusing. The poem is very humorous to read and makes one laugh. This poem is a panacea for our depressive minds. It is written in a simple language. It is familiarize the children about different types of animals and birds and their issues and behavioral pattern, especially when they are kept as a pet at home or kept in a zoos. Now we'll see the summary. The poet tells us about what makes a vet competent and different from other doctors who treat human beings. Since animal and birds vary in size, shapes and their anatomy is entirely different from each other. Their alignments are also quite different from each other. It becomes a complex task for a vet to identify the problems and treat them. The poet especially mentions the unusual behaviors and mannerism of some animals and birds, which makes it fun to read. The poet, through varied example and descriptions, tell us that a vet needs to be remarkably skilled and compassionate to be able to treat these animals who cannot express their pains or suffering through words or language like human beings. God has created animals and birds gifted with the adaptability to any geographical condition. If they are domesticated or kept in a cage, their life becomes entirely different from the open, free environment in which they are used to living. They are used to vagaries and variances happening in the nature or variness in the nature. Hence, the vet need to be very skilled and dedicated in his job since they are being made to live in an artificially created environment, which many animals will resist. Hence, a vet has to be very proficient in his work. If someone is interested in making money from his job, then veterinary science is not an ideal job for him. In that case, the poet advises everybody to be a doctor for human beings since you will get the money's worth and is much an easier task than being a vet. So, students, how is the poem? So, could you be the veterinarian doctor? Doctors for animals and birds. I hope you have understood the poem, whatever I have teach now. If you have any doubt, you can ask me through WhatsApp. But this poem is very easy, so you should have understood this. Okay? Thank you very much. Good day.